Okay, so get this. We're diving into an interview with Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yeah,
Okay.
but not like from a tech conference or anything. It was from the Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity.
Oh, wow.
The guy who's obsessed with rockets and electric cars.
Yeah.
He was hanging out with the advertising world.
That's fascinating.
I thought so too. That's why I wanted to do a deep dive on it.
Yeah. Well, it is a very interesting choice of venue.
Yeah.
Almost like he's trying to send a message.
Well, remember that whole go yourselves thing he had with advertisers last year?
Oh, yeah, with the whole Twitter censorship thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He basically told advertisers that they don't get to control the content of the platform.
That's right. He basically said, look, you can choose where your ads appear,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't get to dictate what I allow on the platform as a whole.
Yeah, and he even compared it to like a newspaper editor deciding what gets published.
He's definitely trying to draw a clear line in the sand.
Yeah.
Like on one hand, he wants free speech, saying that's essential for a public forum like X.
Right.
But on the other hand, advertisers, they want a safe space for their brand.
Makes sense.
So it's a tough balance.
Right.
How does he reconcile those two competing demands?
Yeah, it's a big question.
That will really be crucial to whether X succeeds or not.
Yeah, but it wasn't all, big pronouncements and fighting words. He
Right.
actually got pretty personal in this interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he admitted that not all of his posts are, home runs
Uh-huh.
and that he makes mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Even shoots himself in the foot, as he put it.
Wow, that's a very,
I know.
that's a very honest admission for someone in his position.
It really is. It's rare to see that kind of transparency.
Right.
Exactly. Kind of makes you wonder,
Yeah.
does that make people trust him more? Or does it make them question his judgment?
I guess that's up to each individual to decide.
I think so too. And then he got into advertising.
Oh, yeah.
And this might surprise you. It seems like he doesn't actually hate ads.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was completely against advertising.
I know, me too.
Interesting.
He hates bad ads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he thinks ads should be either
Okay.
like useful,
Useful.
providing relevant information, or
Yeah.
so entertaining
Okay.
that they're actually enjoyable to watch.
Like, almost like entertainment themselves.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
he used Vogue magazine as an example,
Oh, wow.
where the ads are practically works of art.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it's about integrating them into the experience,
Right.
not just bombarding people with irrelevant stuff.
Interesting. So he's got a very high standard then.
Yeah, he does, but it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
He claimed that X is going to use AI to make ads as compelling as organic content.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're going to be personalized and targeted
Uh-huh.
to each user.
Exactly.
It sounds kind of like science fiction.
I know, right?
Like, how's that even possible?
Well, he didn't really get into the details. But, AI's ability to analyze data and predict preferences
Yeah,
is really advancing.
it is.
So I guess we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's a big gamble, but he seems pretty confident.
Yeah, he does. And to make things even more appealing for advertisers, he emphasized that X reaches a unique audience.
Okay.
CEOs, world leaders, those kinds of people.
The movers and shakers.
Exactly. A demographic he claims no other platform can offer.
That's a pretty compelling argument.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
So he's really challenging the advertising world.
He really is.
But let's move on to what I think is the most interesting part of the interview.
Okay.
His views on AI.
Right.
It's interesting because he seems both optimistic and concerned about AI. Like, how do we make sense of that?
Yeah, that's kind of a paradox, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, it seems contradictory, but maybe it's not.
Okay.
He thinks AI could usher in an age of abundance
Okay.
where work becomes optional because machines can just do most of the tasks.
So, like, what would we even do with our time
Exactly.
if we didn't have to work?
It's a very interesting question.
It is.
Almost like a utopian vision in a way.
Right. But I can also see why he's concerned.
Yeah, I mean, what happens to our sense of purpose?
Exactly.
What motivates us if everything's done for us?
Right. And he actually uses a very interesting analogy.
Okay.
He compares it to the Roman Empire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He suggests that the abundance and leisure of Roman society might have contributed to its decline.
Too much of a good thing.
Exactly. Too much comfort, not enough striving.
Yeah, so how do we prevent that from happening?
Right. How do we make sure we don't go down that same path?
If we do end up in this AI-driven future,
Yeah. It's a big question.
It is.
And then there's the whole issue of AI safety.
Right, something he's been talking about for years.
Yeah, he even brought up that chilling prediction from Jeff Hinton.
Oh, yeah, the AI pioneer. He
Yeah.
said there's like a 10 to 20% chance of something terrible happening.
Yeah, even human extinction. It's pretty scary.
It is. But instead of saying we need to stop AI development,
Yeah.
he's emphasizing the importance of building safety measures into AI.
Right. Making sure we're being responsible with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he brought up a really interesting point about training AI to value truth and to be curious
Okay.
as a way to mitigate those risks.
Interesting. So, like, if AI is inherently curious
Wow.
and seeks truth,
Yeah.
then it's less likely to go off the rails.
I think that's the idea. He even used HAL 9000 as an example.
Oh, from 2001.
Yeah.
The AI that goes rogue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He argued that forcing AI to lie, even for seemingly harmless reasons, can have unpredictable consequences.
So even small things like that can have a big impact.
Right. It's like a ripple effect.
Right. It's a reminder that even the most advanced technology,
Yeah.
it's still just a tool.
Uh-huh.
And it depends on the intentions of the people who are using it.
I think that's a good point. And speaking of intention,
Okay.
there's a bit of irony surrounding OpenAI. Oh, yeah. The company he co-founded.
Exactly. It was supposed to be open source and transparent, but now it's closed source and profit driven.
So it's kind of gone in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it's definitely a change that raises eyebrows.
It does make you wonder,
Yeah.
can ethical AI development really coexist with corporate interests?
That's a tough question.
And it's one that we're going to have to face more and more as
Yeah.
AI becomes more integrated into our lives.
Right. It's not going away.
Definitely not.
So let's shift gears a bit
Oh.
and talk about something that might hit closer to home for a lot of people.
Okay.
Creative AI.
Right.
Musk believes that AI is eventually going to surpass human capabilities.
In creative fields.
Yeah, in art, music, writing, all of that.
Wow.
So what do you think about that?
I mean, that's a really interesting question.
Uh-huh.
Like, on one hand, it's kind of mind-blowing
Mm-hmm.
to think that AI could create things
Yeah.
that are just as good or even better than humans.
Right. Imagine like an AI composing a symphony. That's better than Beethoven.
Or painting a masterpiece that's better than Picasso.
It's crazy to think about.
It is.
But then on the other hand, it's
Yeah.
like, what happens to human artists?
Right. Do you even need them anymore?
It's kind of a scary thought.
It is like, what's our role in a world where machines can do it all?
Yeah. And Musk kind of addressed this, but his solution might surprise you.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
He pointed to his other company, Neuralink.
Oh, wow, Neuralink.
Ugh.
That's the brain-computer interface company.
Exactly.
We're really getting into futuristic territory now.
We are. It's the idea of enhancing human intelligence so that we can keep up with AI.
So instead of being replaced by AI,
Yeah.
we merge with it in a way.
Exactly. That's a pretty wild concept.
It is like something out of a science fiction movie.
But Neuralink is actually making progress in this area.
Oh, wow. So they're not just theorizing about it?
Nope. They've actually implanted a device in a human patient.
Really?
Yeah. Someone with a spinal cord injury.
Oh.
And they can now control a computer with their thoughts.
That's incredible.
I know Musk even called it a form of telepathy.
Wow.
Which sounds a little sensationalized.
Yeah, a bit dramatic.
But the technology is pretty remarkable.
It is. I mean, a brain implant that allows you to control a computer with your mind.
Yeah. It's mind-blowing.
It is. And it's also a little bit scary.
I know, right? It's hard to even wrap your head around what that means for everyday life.
Totally. Like brain implants telepathy.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to even imagine.
Yeah. It definitely raises a lot of questions.
Yeah. About the ethics, the risks,
Uh-huh.
all of that.
We'll have to dive into Neuralink more in the next part of our deep dive.
I'm looking forward to that.
But for now,
Yeah.
let's talk about the driving force behind all of this.
Okay.
Elon Musk himself.
Right. Like, what motivates him to pursue all these crazy ventures?
Yeah, it's clear that he's driven by curiosity. You know, a desire to understand the universe consciousness.
Yeah.
The future of humanity.
Okay.
You look at SpaceX, their goal is to make humanity multiplanetary.
Yeah.
Neuralink is pushing the boundaries of human intelligence.
Mm.
Even Tesla is trying to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy.
Right.
There's this common thread.
Yeah. They're all very big ideas.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to rely on market research.
Yeah, he doesn't.
It's like he operates on intuition.
It's like he just knows what people want before they even know it.
Exactly. He gave the examples of electric cars and widespread internet access, things that a lot of people dismissed at first.
Right. But now they're essential parts of our lives.
I know, it's pretty amazing. He believes in putting himself in the end user's shoes,
Yeah.
imagining what would actually improve their lives.
That's a really interesting approach
It is.
because it's not just about asking people what they want.
Right.
It's about anticipating their needs and giving them something they didn't even know they needed.
It's risky, but it's also what makes him so successful.
Yeah, I could see that.
So is this intuition the key to his success, or is it a gamble that could backfire?
That's a good question.
That's something to think about as we continue our deep dive.
But
But one thing's for sure. He's not afraid to challenge conventional thinking.
no, he's not.
And push the boundaries of what's possible.
He's definitely a visionary.
He is. Whether you admire him or criticize him, you can't deny his impact on the world.
That's for sure.
And his message for those entering the workforce today is pretty clear.
What is it?
Embrace AI.
Right.
Learn to use it because it's here to stay.
Right.
And it's only going to become more influential.
So he sees it as a time of great opportunity.
Yeah, but also a time of great change.
And uncertainty.
Exactly. And with that,
Okay.
we come to the end of part 1 of our deep dive into Elon Musk's interview at Cannes Lions.
Wow.
I know we've covered a lot.
We have from free speech to advertising to AI's potential and even the craziness of Neuralink.
But we're just getting started.
Oh, good. I can't wait to hear more.
I know there's so much more to unpack.
Right. Like how will AI impact internet, search the news, even the fabric of our society?
And of course, we're going to have to delve deeper into Neuralink
Okay.
and what it could mean for the future of humanity.
It's going to be fascinating.
It is so. Stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive,
I definitely will.
where we'll continue this exploration together.
Awesome. I'm excited. So we left off talking about his advice for young people.
Yeah, embrace the AI revolution.
Right. Like he's saying, if you don't get on board, you're going to be left behind.
It's like he sees AI as this unstoppable force.
It's going to change everything.
And those who adapt will thrive.
He even gave some examples of how it's already happening.
Like what?
TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
He actually said TikTok is ahead of the curve when it comes to using AI.
For personalization.
Exactly. Tailoring the content to each user.
It's pretty amazing how well they do that.
It is. And he even admitted that.
What's
that
that?
they're doing a better job than X right now. Yeah. It shows a lot of humility to admit that.
It does, especially for someone like him.
Yeah. He's usually pretty confident in his own abilities.
Yeah, but he's also willing to learn from others.
Right. Even potential competitors.
Exactly. It's all about getting the best results.
And constantly evolving.
So personalized content is just the beginning.
Right. He talked about how AI could revolutionize search.
Yeah, he basically said that if AI can provide better search results than Google,
people will switch.
it's a bold prediction.
It is. But imagine a search engine that actually understands you,
Yeah.
anticipates your needs,
And gives you exactly what you're looking for.
without having to scroll through pages of results.
They would change everything.
It would. And what would happen to Google then?
I don't know. Would they become obsolete?
He didn't say that,
Okay.
but he thinks their role would definitely diminish.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
How often do you actually go past the first page of Google results?
Not very often.
Exactly. So if an AI search engine can give you the best results right away...
It would be a game changer.
But it's not just search engines.
Right.
He thinks AI will disrupt journalism, too.
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting.
He basically said that AI will become the primary source of news for most people.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Imagine AI gathering information from millions of sources and creating a constantly updating news feed
Okay.
that's tailored to your interests.
So like a personalized news aggregator?
But it's more than that.
Okay.
He thinks AI can actually analyze and synthesize information,
Okay.
like finding patterns and connections that humans might miss.
So it's not just about speed and personalization.
Right.
It's about getting a deeper understanding of the news.
And here's the controversial part.
Like,
He thinks AI could be more accurate and unbiased than traditional journalism.
I bet that didn't go over well with journalists.
No, it didn't. But his point is that traditional journalism has limitations.
It can be slow biased.
And it doesn't really have that real-time feedback loop that you get online.
So he sees AI as a way to create a more dynamic and responsive news ecosystem.
Exactly.
But that raises a lot of ethical questions.
It does, like who controls the AI?
Right. And how do we prevent manipulation?
And it goes back to what we talked about before,
Yeah.
about the importance of truth-seeking in AI development.
Absolutely. If AI is going to be our main source of news, it needs to be trained to prioritize accuracy and objectivity.
He even compared the spread of misinformation in traditional media versus online platforms.
Okay.
And he argued that false information can be challenged and debunked more quickly online.
Because of the real-time nature of it.
Right, like a crowdsourced approach to truth-seeking.
It's an interesting idea, but it relies on people actually being willing to engage in good faith debate.
Which isn't always the case online.
Definitely not.
But he seems to think that AI can help filter out the noise and misinformation and allow the truth to surface.
So he's pretty optimistic about the role of AI in combating misinformation.
He is. It's an interesting perspective.
It is, and it's something we need to think about as AI becomes more powerful.
Absolutely. Okay, let's switch gears again.
Okay.
Let's talk about Optimus.
Oh, the humanoid robot.
Yeah, the one he thinks will be as common as smartphones one day.
Billions of them helping us with everything.
From chores to complex tasks.
It's like a futuristic dream.
But it also raises questions about jobs.
Right, and the economy.
And how do we make sure everyone has access to these technologies?
That's a lot to consider.
He didn't really address those specifics in this interview,
Okay.
but he did say something pretty interesting.
What's that?
He thinks people will develop emotional bonds with their Optimus robots.
Really, like friendships?
Yeah, he actually used that word.
Wow, that's a bit strange.
It is. It blurs the lines between human connection and technology.
And what does that mean for the future of companionship?
It's a big question.
It is one that we'll have to grapple with as these technologies evolve.
It's clear that Musk is a visionary.
Yeah.
With a grand plan for the future.
He's not afraid to think big.
And he's putting his money where his mouth is.
With Tesla's SpaceX Neuralink.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It is, whether he succeeds or fails.
Uh-huh.
One thing's for sure.
What's that?
The future he's envisioning is going to be wild.
And speaking of wild,
Yeah.
let's get back to Neuralink.
Oh, the brain-computer interface.
This is where things get really mind-bending.
Right, like, are we really ready for this?
It's a big question, and one that we're going to explore in the final part of our deep dive.
All right, so we're back.
And ready to dive into Neuralink.
This is where things get really crazy.
It's like straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Brain-computer interfaces.
It's mind-boggling.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
Neuralink is actually making it happen.
Well, they're making progress, at least.
Right. Musk said they've already implanted a device in a human.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
This isn't just theoretical anymore.
Nope, it's real.
Wow.
It was someone with a spinal cord injury.
Okay.
And now they can control a computer with their thoughts.
So, like, they can move a cursor?
Yeah, and even play video games.
That's incredible.
I know.
So they actually put a chip in someone's brain.
Yeah, and Musk said it's invisible and charges wirelessly.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
It is, but it's also kind of scary.
Yeah, definitely.
So where does he see this going?
Like, what's the end goal?
Yeah.
He wants to merge human and artificial intelligence.
Wow.
He thinks Neuralink can enhance our abilities.
So we can keep up with AI?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like he's trying to solve that existential crisis we talked about.
Right. What happens when AI becomes smarter than us?
Yeah, it's like he's saying we can join them instead of being replaced by them.
It's a pretty radical solution.
It is, but it's also kind of exciting.
It is in a way, but it's hard to imagine what that would be like.
I know brain implants AI symbiosis,
It's a whole new world.
and it raises a lot of questions.
Yeah, like what are the risks?
Right, what about privacy?
Could someone hack into our brains?
It's definitely something to think about.
It's like we're opening up a whole new can of worms.
I know, but Musk seems to think it's worth it.
I mean, he's always pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, he's not afraid to take risks.
But are we moving too fast?
I don't know, are we ready for a future where we're literally plugged into machines?
That's a tough question.
It is, and there's no easy answer.
Well, this has been quite a deep dive.
It has. We've covered so much.
From free speech to AI to brain implants.
It's amazing how all these things are connected.
I know, and it's all thanks to Elon Musk.
He's definitely a fascinating guy.
He is, whether you agree with him or not.
Yeah, he's definitely making us think about the future.
And that's what it's all about.
So what do you think?
Are you excited about the future Musk is envisioning?
I'm not sure it's a mix of excitement and fear.
I think that's a pretty common reaction.
Yeah, it's a lot to process.
It is, but that's what makes it so interesting.
Right. It's a future full of possibilities.
And challenges.
So keep exploring, keep questioning.
And keep diving deep into the ideas that matter most.
Until next time.